Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Kim Miller begins now.
Good evening. First tonight, it's been revealed in Parliament a staff member at Ashley Youth Detention Centre has been stood down over historic sexual abuse allegations. Calls are now growing for a commission of inquiry into child abuse in government care, with investigations underway across 3 departments.
Shocking revelations in Parliament. Allegations of serious sexual assault by a staff member at Ashley Youth Detention Centre.
I can confirm that a staff member has been stood down, pending allegations being investigated fully. I'm not going to provide any more detail regarding the identity or the nature of matters.
We understand this individual is facing hundreds of claims against them in a civil action.
Lawyer Sebastian Buscemi says the alleged historic abuse isn't an isolated incident.
I'm aware of, across the state, at least 100 people have come forward to law firms with allegations of abuse at Ashley over a number of decades.
2 other staff members also believed to be stood down. The revelations come a month after the government launched an independent investigation into allegations of child sex abuse by deceased nurse James Jeffrey Griffin at the Launceston General Hospital. An inquiry also underway into historic abuse within the Education Department.
The government should not be treating these as isolated and totally separate incidents. It goes to a systemic issue, cultural issues.
Mr Buscemi says he's aware of at least 340 people who have made allegations against those 3 departments, calling for a widespread commission of inquiry into abuse within government care.
It needs to be completely independent of government. It needs to look at the systems as a whole, why it is that this conduct has existed in the Education Department, in the Health Department, in communities, in child protection.
Of course, open to any other matters that can ensure that a very thorough investigations take place in terms of how can we better protect our children in our care.
The opposition says the current inquiries underway don't go far enough.
What are they trying to hide? It is absolutely negligent of them to not commit to a full inquiry across all departments. This is the only way that we can really have confidence in the system.
Meg Sides, 7 Tasmania News.
And if you or anyone you know needs help or this story caused you any distress, you can contact the Sexual Assault Support Service on 1800 697 877. Speed limits in the centre of Hobart will officially be lowered to just 40 kilometres an hour. The council has confirmed the controversial change passed its final hurdle, supported by the Transport Commission this week. Inner city stretches of Melville, Harrington, Argyle and Collins streets will all have their speed limits dropped from February. The Lord Mayor says the change is aimed at keeping drivers and pedestrians safe, with around 13 crashes currently reported in the area every month. Meanwhile, Hobart's CBD was thrown into chaos this afternoon when a burst water main caused major flooding on one of the city's busiest roads. Water swamped Murray Street around 2 p.m. as a footpath shattered during the incident. Nearby shops were inundated as Taswater crews worked for around 2 hours to fix the issue. Traffic was reduced to just 1 lane while restoration work continued. Roadside assist workers are experiencing a worrying level of danger in their job, with 3/4 reporting a near miss at work. The RACT is calling for legislation to protect them, akin to the mandatory speed limit when passing an emergency service vehicle.
Our people can't control where vehicles break down. They break down where they break down. So we've got to set up a safer work site as we can.
Similar legislation exists in Western Australia, where drivers must slow down for any vehicle with a flashing light other than an indicator or hazard light. Tasmanians are being urged to prepare for the boating season by checking their safety equipment. Marine and Safety Tasmania is releasing a new advertising campaign ahead of the summer, focusing on encouraging boat owners to check they're prepared for the worst.
Check whether your life jacket is compliant with the new standard AS 4758 and to have the correct safety gear on board and know how to use it, and also for it to be very accessible.
We're urging people to get it out, have a look at it, make sure it's all in date, it's all ready to go, you know how to use it and you can get to it.
Tasmania Marine Police say there has been a recent increase in recreational boaters being fined for not carrying the required safety gear. The crew aboard research vessel Investigator has been given a dazzling Meteor show, sailing 100 kilometres off the south coast of Tasmania just after 9 last night. The bridge crew and the ship's live stream camera both saw the Meteor race across the night sky before burning up. The voyage manager called it a stroke of luck to capture the footage. For the first time since the pandemic began, Tasmania's Museum and Art Gallery has opened its first major exhibition, a project 40 years in the making. Stranger shows off the work of Launceston artist David Keeling, representing a visual history of the state's environment.
On these gallery walls, a life's work, 4 decades of art brought together for one milestone exhibition.
A lot of these works, were painted in Tasmania but have never been shown here, so to have them come back, some I haven't seen for over 30 years, unpacking them was just thrilling.
Stranger features 70 works by the Launceston-born artist, many sourced from private collections and shown for the first time. An iconic exhibition, these paintings telling the stories of Tasmania, its landscapes and its people, a timeline spanning since the 1980s.
I used to call them my little epiphanies, now I call them my grand epiphanies, because what I'm trying to do with my work is tell people, make that connection with nature now.
In all the works there's an edge or a strangeness to them, and that's what unites them. That and the fact that these are pictures of Tasmania.
It's the Tasmanian Museum and Art Gallery's first major exhibition of the year, already delayed by several months. Back to some sense of normality after the space was forced to shut down at the peak of the coronavirus crisis. A welcome return for art lovers.
Art is such an important part of who we are, and to be without that, I'd certainly miss it.
Stranger is on show at TMAC from tomorrow until February. Michelle Wisby, 7 Tasmania News.
Some lucky Tasmanian students have had class on a farm ahead of National Agriculture Day tomorrow. More than 20 students tested out a new farm learning program which hopes to grow interest in the field.
Weighing cows and shearing sheep. It wasn't the usual maths and English today for these East Launceston Primary School students.
We've been experiencing some of the things you do on a farm in real life.
Petting cows, we planted some trees. Over there we got to see some alpacas.
Currently, 5,000 students a year visit Hagley Farm School. Today's visitors were testing an expanded program.
So we're really looking to engage the students, to get them thinking beyond just working on a farm, but the technology behind it, the science it's based in.
I've kind of thought about when I was older being a vet, and that's kind of made me think about it even more.
The program's designed to give children some first-hand agricultural experience, hopefully planting the seed for our next great crop of farmers. And they've taken to it like pigs in mud.
Oh, they absolutely love it. Being able to get in, have their hands dirty in some cases. We need as many of our brightest young minds going into agriculture because it's a growth industry. We need to be able to do things more efficiently, more cheaply.
The program is supported by the Tasmanian Farmers and Graziers Association.
We think it's really important that kids understand what's involved with agriculture, that they understand how their food is produced and where it's produced.
Josh Duggan, 7 Tasmania News.
Tasmania's manufacturing industry is set to receive a boost, with the government releasing its latest action plan to keep local jobs. Supporting innovation and business growth, as well as developing a skilled workforce, are just some of the key areas of focus.
I suppose there's probably a little bit of a skill shortage for us, and we struggle to get good people.
Manufacturing is one of the largest industries in the state, with a turnover of more than $7 billion. An all-girls training program is smashing sixes to support the next generation of cricketers. Ulverston player Kalia Leary is behind the initiative, hoping it will offer future stars of the game a pathway into sport.
Fielding, batting and bowling. These young cricketers put through their paces, learning every aspect of the game.
We've been bowling at some batters and they've been doing some running, and we've also been doing different relays and hitting the cricket balls, who can do it furthest. So that was really fun.
Ready, set, go! all part of the Northwest Cricket Blast aimed at levelling the playing field so these players can pursue their favourite sport. Training at Ulverston, it's the first clinic of its kind in the region, and it's already proving to be a hit.
Probably the fact that there's no boys and you just feel really comfortable with all the girls around. When I started playing cricket, there weren't any girls options, so I had to play with the boys, and it was very good for development and all of that sort of thing, but it was very daunting.
The idea all started when Kalia noticed training pathways for females were lacking, often leaving aspiring players out of options.
We thought about the primary school age, those girls that are between the ages of sort of 5 and 10 or 5 and 12, they don't really have anywhere to go.
Then this clinic was born, a simple plan that's already inspiring the next generation of sporting stars.
It's really good and you've got someone to look up to.
Michelle Wisby, 7 Tasmania News.
Good evening. Launceston's maximum up on average by over 8 degrees today as Australia's third oldest city recorded 29. Hobart got to 18, Burnie 20 and Devonport 24. Flinders Island 28 degrees, St Helens and Friendly Beaches 24, Low Head, Ouse and Lyowini 21 and Strawn 19. A light shower over the west and south this afternoon as the cloud initially gathered over those regions and moved across the state. A band of cloud stretches across northern Victoria from a large mass over north-east South Australia. Cloud with thunderstorms over the Territory and parts of Queensland. Tomorrow the low crosses Tasmania, followed swiftly by the next high. Troughs evident over the Big Island. Southwesterly winds at 15 to 20 knots, reaching 20 to 30 knots over the east in the afternoon. Swells at 4 metres in western and southern waters. A strong wind warning in the east from the northern reaches of Flinders Island down to Tasman Island. Hobart expecting 21 and partly cloudy tomorrow. Maybe a light shower over Huonville, 21 the top and 22 for Campania. Launceston 27 and partly cloudy, Devonport 24, 25 the high for Georgetown, mainly fine but a bit of cloud about. Same for Burnie but 24 degrees there, 19 for Strawn, partly cloudy for Wynyard and 24. St Helens a high tomorrow of 24 degrees, Swansea 22 and Port Arthur recovering from an early shower to a high of 19. UV very high 9 as we expect 14 hours and 40 minutes of the sun above the horizon. To Saturday the chance of morning showers over the northwest, otherwise fine. Showers on Sunday all over but minor falls over the south, and on Monday showers more likely over the eastern half of the state, easing in the evening. Mostly sunny in Perth tomorrow, partly cloudy for Adelaide and Melbourne. Canberra a sunny 32, sunny and 29 for Sydney and Brisbane. Hobart cloudy at the moment, 17 degrees. Launceston partly cloudy and 24. Bit of cloud over Devonport at the moment and 19 degrees. Righto, time to get back to you, Kim. Of course, tomorrow you have to prepare for your gumboots for Agriculture Day. Get dressed up.
Can go out to the family farm. Thanks, Murph. See you tomorrow, brother. And that is all your news for now. I'll be back later with updates. Thanks for joining us. Good night.